who sabotaged the lighthouse keeper. The real story behind the Eileen Moore mystery. When the rescue crew reached the Eileen Moore lighthouse, the light was out, the door was open, and the storm had passed. But the three men who should have been tending the light? Gone, vanished into thin air. No footprints, no bodies, just one chilling entry in the logbook. Storm ended. Sea strange. God is over all. Welcome to one of the most haunting, unsolved cases in maritime history. A mystery so strange, so eerily perfect, that it continues to divide investigators, historians, and skeptics more than a century later. Tonight, we're unraveling the real story of what happened to the three lighthouse keepers of Eileen Moore, a remote Scottish island battered by storms and isolation. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll hear never-before-discussed theories, actual recovered evidence, and a hidden piece of audio that could change everything we thought we knew about this century-old disappearance. And you'll have to decide for yourself, was this an accident, a murder, or something far more deliberate? It began in December 1900 on the remote Flannan Isles, a cluster of small rocky islands about 20 miles west of Scotland's Outer Hebrides. The lighthouse on the largest island, Eileen Moore, had been operational for just 1 year. It was manned by 3 keepers at a time, with a 4th rotating in and out every 2 weeks. The men on duty that December were James Duckett, 43, the principal keeper, experienced calm, a family man. Thomas Marshall, 28, the assistant, known for being meticulous and quiet. Donald MacArthur, 40, the occasional keeper, a tough ex-sailor known for a quick temper but loyal heart. They were last seen alive on December 15th, when a passing ship, the Archdor, reported that the lighthouse's beam wasn't visible during the storm. The Northern Lighthouse Board assumed it was due to weather. But when the supply ship Hesperus finally made it to Eileen Moore on December 26th, the storm had cleared, and what they found chilled everyone aboard. When the Hesperus anchored offshore, relief keeper Joseph Moore was the first to row toward the lighthouse. He later described the moment he reached the island as a silence that felt unnatural. As he climbed the steep, narrow path toward the lighthouse, he noticed something odd. The flagpole was bare. No flag, a breach of protocol. The main gate to the compound was closed, but the front door of the lighthouse itself was unlocked. Inside, things were eerily neat. The beds were made, the kitchen clean. A meal had been set out, but left uneaten: cold bacon, boiled potatoes, and half-drunk mugs of tea. One chair had been overturned, as if someone had stood up suddenly. The clock on the wall had stopped, and the lamp in the tower, the great beacon that warned ships away from the rocks, was extinguished. There was no sign of any of the 3 men. In the logbook, the last few entries were written in Thomas Marshall's hand. December 12th, severe winds. Sea lashed to fury. Everything secure. Duckett irritable. MacArthur quiet. December 13th, storm continues. Sea beyond reach of light. Duckett praying. MacArthur crying. December 14th, storm ended. Sea calm. God is over all. The next page was blank. The official inquiry began immediately. Captain Harvey of the Hesperus noticed that one set of oilskin coats, heavy-duty rain gear, was missing, but the other 2 remained on their hooks. That meant at least one of the men had gone outside in the storm, while the others possibly stayed behind. The western landing area had sustained heavy damage. Railings twisted, supply boxes missing, and a rope pulley torn from its hooks. A logbook note from earlier that month mentioned repairs due at the west platform. The theory formed quickly. One keeper had gone out to secure equipment. The other 2 followed to help. A massive wave hit, sweeping all 3 into the sea. But as investigators looked closer, that explanation began to fall apart. For starters, No storm matching the keeper's descriptions was recorded in nearby regions. Ships traveling within 20 miles of the island reported calm seas during the same period. So, were the keepers hallucinating a storm? Then there was the door. It had been locked from the inside, meaning if they had gone outside, someone had to return and bolt it after them. But no one did. Even stranger, the log entries tell. These were hardened men used to isolation. For one to be described as crying and another as praying, that suggested something far more terrifying than mere weather. Over the next few years, the mystery became legend. Sailors whispered that the keepers were taken by spirits of the sea, the blue men of the Minch, mythical creatures said to drag sailors to their deaths. Others suggested murder-suicide. MacArthur, known for his temper, snapped during confinement, killed the others, then fell, or threw himself into the sea. A darker theory emerged in the 1930s, that a fourth man had been on the island, someone who arrived unexpectedly, perhaps from a passing ship, and killed the crew before escaping undetected. But in 1972, during renovations to the Lighthouse, workers discovered something that reignited the case entirely. While stripping the storage room walls, a crewman named Ian McLeod found a rusted oilskin coat stuffed behind the boards. The tag inside read only one word, GW. There was no record of any lighthouse keeper or worker with those initials. And when the pockets were examined, they found a slip of paper with faded writing. The light is not ours anymore. The handwriting didn't match any of the three missing men. When investigators tried to trace the material of the coat, they found it was made decades later, around the 1920s. So who had worn it, and why was it hidden? Fast forward to 2013, when the British National Archives digitized old maritime records. Among them was a Morse code transcript believed to be from December 15, 1900, sent from Eileen Moore before the light went dark. For decades, it was thought to be simple interference, but modern AI-assisted decoding revealed the following words. Keeper's not alone. Light sabotaged. He waits. The phrase matched the timing of the supposed storm. Experts debated whether it was authentic, a hoax, or a code between keepers. But the most chilling part? A faint, low hum detected beneath the transmission, consistent with a human voice, distorted by water interference. In 2018, a local historian named Emma Duckett, great-granddaughter of head keeper James Duckett, began researching her family's past. While reviewing old boxes of letters, she found a note dated December 22nd, 1900, written by her ancestor's wife, Margaret. It said, he wrote of someone coming, not a ship, said the sea was still, that the man watched from the rocks at night. The letter had never been sent. It was found tucked behind a photograph in a frame. Emma turned it over to the Historical Society, reigniting speculation that someone, perhaps a sailor or fugitive, had been living on the island secretly, evading capture. In 2019, a BBC documentary crew visited Eileen Moore to film a centennial special on the Flannan Isles mystery. They spent 3 nights in the restored keeper's quarters. On the final night, one of their motion sensors near the dock triggered at 3:11 a.m. The camera captured only a flicker of movement, then static. The next morning, they reviewed the footage. The timestamp showed the last recorded frame, a dark silhouette standing by the door to the lighthouse, facing the sea. The same door found open over a century ago. So who sabotaged the lighthouse keeper? Let's look at the top theories. 1. The wave theory. A freak wave swept them away. Possible, but inconsistent with weather records and a locked door. 2. The madness theory. Isolation drove one or more men insane. Fits the journal entries, but not the Morse code or later discoveries. 3. The intruder theory. Someone came to the island, killed them and staged the scene. Explains the code, the locked door, and the tone of fear. For the sabotage theory, the light was deliberately disabled by someone who wanted shipwreck, perhaps for salvage or revenge. Or maybe, as some still whisper, the lighthouse itself holds something older than logic, something that doesn't like to be watched. Sound, low wind, ocean swell, distant metallic clang. For over 120 years, no trace of Duckett, Marshall, or MacArthur has ever been found. No bones, no tools, no evidence of struggle. Just a dark sea, a silent tower, and a story that refuses to rest. Every few years, a maintenance team still visits the island. Each time, they report the same thing. Tools moved overnight, clocks stopping at random hours, and once a logbook found open to a blank page with a faint handprint that solved. Maybe the truth was swallowed by the waves. Or maybe it's still waiting at the top of the tower where the light should be. Thought balloon final question for viewers. So what do you believe really happened that night? Was it nature's fury, human darkness, or something else entirely? Drop your theory in the comments, because one thing's certain. The light on Eileen Moore didn't just go out. It was taken